Welcome to this week's edition of World Crisis Radio. This is Webster Tarpley speaking to you from Washington, D.C., and we've had a big week. I think a lot of people are grasping the significance of WikiLeaks as a CIA limited hangout self-exposure operation. I call your attention to the ANSA dispatch, the Italian National News Agency. ANSA quotes me, Tarpley, that WikiLeaks is a striptease by the CIA, of and by the CIA. And we've also now had this historical watershed. A real marker has been passed in terms of the collapse of the left liberal hysteria for Obama. After 3 years of Obama hysteria, we've had the peripeteia, right, the fall, as the Greeks would have said, of the Messiah. The reason for this is Obama's craven capitulation, in reality, just the beginning of an ugly, ugly policy of austerity for the masses and the tremendous rewards for super rich parasites. The Obama policy of embracing tax cuts for the rich, and indeed embracing them along with a first treacherous step to destroy Social Security by this tax holiday, so-called, on the 2% of the Social Security payroll tax, the FICA that you see on your pay stubs. This is meant by Obama to be the beginning of the end of Social Security. We've always said Obama is not the new FDR. He hates Social Security, wants to destroy it. He's not the new Kennedy. He wants to destroy the space program, which was the signature program of Kennedy. He's not the new LBJ. He wants to destroy gut Medicare, which was LBJ's most important achievement. This is also, although he may not understand it because of his megalomania, it wouldn't change anything because he's told to do what he does by his masters, and ultimately it is self-destructive. In 2008, the essence of Obama's appeal was, I am not Bush. I am not Bush. I'm the opposite of Bush. I'm a million miles away from Bush. Look at me. Do I look like Bush? I'm not Bush. Now, in 2010, Obama's message is, I am Bush. I'm even worse than Bush. I'm a bigger warmonger. I'm a much more effective strikebreaker. And above all, I am a Wall Street puppet in ways that Bush could not have dreamed of because I do it under left cover, but the result is more extreme than Bush. And now, finally, because of the tremendous rage among the left liberals about the special treatment for the rich, right? The tremendous income disparities reaching 450, 600 to 1 inside the same company. The U.S. tendency towards a greater and greater disparities of income and accumulated wealth. Now they finally figured out something. Now, what's the bonanza for these rich parasites? Well, for the top oligarchs, it's going to mean the continuation of what Bush wanted to give them, which if you look at those interesting charts, right, whereas people in the $250,000 area would be getting a tax cut or are getting a tax cut of $5,000 or $6,000, the ones over that are often getting something in the area of $100,000. The idea of the argument coming from the Republicans is that these are job creators. These are small businesses. They're not. They are derivatives buyers. They're people who went to buy the Abacus CDO, the collateralized debt obligation, or the timberland, the ones that were described in very graphic scatological terms in the Senate hearings by Senator Levin, or it goes to Singapore or some other really hot market. So there is no job creation argument. The job creation was what this Bush bill was originally called back in early 2000. Then we have the plutocrat tax. They call it the death tax. It's the estate tax. The question is, the ill-gotten fortunes of the Reagan era and before, are they going to get off now scot-free? So this is now changed so that the minimum amount goes up to $5 million in the estate, and the other tax goes down from 55 to 35%. Now, very few people pay this because the whole trick is to avoid it, right? To go around it, to use the loopholes. But symbolically, it is important. The amount of money is also something in the area of 50 or 60 billion a year, not to be sneezed at in this point. Now, there's the point about expensing what amount to capital goods purchases. I am frankly in favor of that one because it reminds us of the idea that you want to use dirigistic elements in the tax code to promote, to encourage people to do things that will be beneficial for the society and bring about economic recovery. For example, if you have a sole proprietorship, you want to go out and buy yourself a computer, it looks like you can expense that completely, if I'm not mistaken. No, I'm not a tax advisor, so don't quote me on this. The really sinister part is, for all of these concessions to the super rich, we've got 13 months of unemployment benefits that are funded. Why 13 months? Why not 2 years? If it's a 2-year extension on the tax cuts for the rich, how come it's only 13 months for the jobless? What does that mean? And, of course, nothing for the 99ers. There's nothing for the fast-growing area of people who have exhausted all existing unemployment benefits after being unemployed for almost 2 years. And this is a fast-growing category. People are becoming destitute. This is absolutely unacceptable. So you're going to borrow money to pay for a bonanza for top oligarchs making millions. The Koch brothers undoubtedly are going to get a wonderful cut of this, but there's only money for 13 weeks of jobless benefits up to 99 weeks, and after that there's absolutely nothing. That is a catalog of shame. The worst feature of this is the so-called tax holiday, saying that the Social Security payroll tax, the FICA, will be reduced for 2% for 1 year. This allows people to say, the bankruptcy of Social Security, the insolvency of Social Security has been brought closer. It was estimated, I believe, by James Roosevelt in that famous speech at the anniversary back in the summer, the 75th anniversary of Social Security, that everything was paid for until 2037. Now, giving up 2% of the tax for 1 year brings that moment of problem closer. Why do this? Why not do something obvious? Raise the cap, abolish the cap. No cap on the amount of earnings that are subjected to the FICA tax. Why should this be? As it is right now, if you earn over $106,000 as an individual, I believe, you stop paying the Social Security payroll tax on everything above $106K. What is the point of that? Everybody's always known that the simplest way to fix whatever might be in Social Security to the end of this current century is simply to remove the cap. So remove the cap. Short, there is no infrastructure stimulus. There's nothing about building fast rail. There's no nuclear reactors. There are no hospitals. There's nothing about a space program, biomedical research, high-energy physics. There's none of this. And there's no Wall Street sales tax. We're told it's the time of shared sacrifice, and this is what we would say to Cameron and Clegg also over there in Britain. Where's the Robin Hood tax? Where's the Wall Street sales tax? How come they're not paying their fair share? Nothing done to stop fraud closures, which is a big issue. Why not make that into something central, right? Why not seize the initiative away from the reactionary Republicans and their various minions? And we just remind people, it was Chris Hayes who the previous week had mentioned the financial transaction tax, financial sales tax, Wall Street sales tax on the Oldman program. The fact that there is no recovery orientation means that the depression will get worse. There will be no recovery. There's nothing in here that will stop the depression. The depression will deteriorate. We'll be back in a minute.